This is the reason your bounce is stuck, and the thing no one has ever told you before. This is quite a new thing for us, and it's something we've been utilizing behind the scenes for many, many years informally. And it's going to help you if you're stuck, if you're plateaued right now, it's going to help you break out of this and give you a clear path forward on why that is and exactly how you should be training to target your weaknesses as an athlete and exploit your vertical. So basically, that's where jump profiling comes in. And that's what we've been utilizing behind the scenes. And it's only recently we've really brought this to the surface and made it very easy for everyone to understand. And basically, there's five main jump profiles. So there's the guy that's strong but can't use speed very well. So a classic example of that is a power lifter. So we have guys that come to us that are very strong and they can't jump high. And we nickname that a bear because a bear very strong, but obviously can't jump that high. Next one is a gazelle. So someone that's more springy, more reactive. So they might be better jumping off one foot. And if they do an RSI test, they're actually quite springy, but when they actually go to jump, they're not jumping too high. So that's someone that would need more force production, and we nickname that a gazelle. Next one is a tiger. So that's someone that is powerful. So that might be someone that is an Olympic lifter. So they're powerful. They have a solid standing vertical, but as soon as they go to a full approach, they can't jump very well. They're uncoordinated. They don't have rhythm. They can't translate speed into going upwards very well. And the nickname for that is a tiger. Next one is a wolf. So that's someone that is more average across the board. So that's more of a classic basketball player. So they're not particularly strong. They're not particularly reactive. They're not particularly elastic. They need to develop all qualities evenly at the same time. And we nickname that a wolf, just for easy clarification. Next one and last one is now. So the reason here is not too obvious. It's not like a bear where you obviously need to work on speed and getting more elastic, or it's not like a gazelle where you obviously need to work on your force production. It's a little bit more hidden. So maybe you're not structuring your training correctly. Maybe you need to improve your body composition. Maybe it's something to do with recovery. It's something that's not clear and obvious, but something is holding you back. Real world example of that is someone like Kawhi Leonard. So he has the structure, he has the body type to jump higher that you would think he would jump higher, but he really doesn't in comparison to the elite jumpers. And that could be due to injury or something underlying that's not obvious, like I said. So the nickname for that is an owl. So Tom, out of our athletes, so who would you say out of our athletes is a bear jump profile? Someone that's strong that can't jump very, very high.
Right. When I say this for everyone that we're going to be like assigning a certain thing to, I will assign it to when they first came to us, because a lot of them, they were that profile, but they're not necessarily that profile fully anymore. So someone that came to us and was definitely more bear dominant was someone like Asan. He's from the US and he was a powerlifter. He was like pretty good at powerlifting. So he's a very strong guy, but he was 6'2" and he was barely grabbing ring. Maybe getting like a finger over. So not jumping very high, but now he can dunk off the dribble, dunk off the lob. He's going for his first like off the backboard dunk. So he's made a lot of progress, but it wasn't necessarily through getting stronger as his main priority.
So 100%. And as soon as we identified that, we could very quickly help him gain inches on his vertical because we knew his weaknesses. We knew what he needed to work on, which was mostly jumping more, which is mostly elastic work, mostly speed work, because he was already strong, but he wasn't jumping high. He was very unathletic. And that's why this is important to know what jump profile you are. So then you can target your weaknesses and identify your weaknesses right away. So then you can avoid being stuck for years, like many athletes end up being, because they're emphasizing the wrong things in their training. So if you actually want to find out your jump profile, we actually have a free test and 7-day challenge down below where you can find out what you are, as well as get free training along with it. And you can identify what you are. And then if you're stuck right now, you're going to have a very clear path behind how to actually progress forward. So if there's something you're interested in, you can apply below. But getting back to Asan, what exactly did we do to help him? Just real quickly, just to lay it out.
Yeah, we just really it's not we didn't not work on strength. We still got him stronger. But obviously he was a powerlifter, so he was doing a lot of low bar squats. So first of all, got rid of those, started doing more high bar, more quad dominant stuff, really tried to build up his quads. We just made sure he was dunking consistently throughout the week. And then in terms of plyometrics and elastic stuff, we really just ramped it up because he was doing literally none before. So started little, started with small dose, and then just over the months and months just kept adding and adding volume. And over time he got better. And his, approach and just the way he moves is completely different now.
So one of our athletes who I can think of when he first started out with us, who was more of a gazelle jump profile. So he was actually quite springy. He was actually quite elastic, but he wasn't jumping high. He wasn't dunking. Is someone like Harry. So for him, as soon as we started adding proper strength training into his training, his vertical exploded. And what was his progression like, Tom? Like, how much did he improve? Like, I think in 6 months he went from what, like not dunking to literally hitting it between the legs. It was like 6 to 8 months, something like that. An insane transformation.
Yeah. He's one of the fastest transformations I've ever seen for jumping. Like, I remember the day he got his first one-hander. It was off someone's lob, and then literally, 8 months to 9 months later, he was going for between the legs, like out of a handoff off the lob, and hitting things like windmills, two-handers off the backboard. That was all easy for him. Within like 4 or 5 months, which is actually really insane. Like, that's one of the fastest progressions I've ever seen. And yeah, like you said, he was very elastic to start with. He's very fast, a basketball player, but naturally very fast and elastic. But the focus for him was just made sure we got his power up, made sure we got his overall strength up, because he was quite a skinny guy when he first came to us as well.
Yeah, literally built like a gazelle.
Facts. No offense, Harry, but
that was you as well, right? You were that skinny guy that you had speed, you had spring, but as soon as you added strength, same thing.
100%. I definitely fall under the gazelle category.
So next one is a tiger. So very recently we had a guy called Brendan, and we identified that his standing vertical and even his one-step vertical were nearly the same as his approach vertical. He was decent power, like he could touch rim, but he wasn't getting any higher off his full approach. Like, he lacks rhythm, he lacks coordination, and he lacks the ability to redirect force quickly off an approach. So for him, we identified he needs to practice full approaches a lot more, because if you're in this situation, your approach jump should roughly be 6 inches higher than your standing. If it's not, then you can identify that this is something you need to work on. And that's what we're going to be doing for him. So we're going to be implementing a lot more things to develop these qualities. So like more things like depth jumps, more things like single leg hops, while at the same time continuing to build his relative strength, not ignoring that. That's a huge, huge key, because he still needs to get more powerful, but he also at the same time needs to ensure he develops his weakness. Is there anything else there, Tom?
That's good. Yeah. I'm glad you touched on that. The job is not finished for his relative strength. Just because you fall under a category that isn't a gazelle does not mean you don't need to get stronger. Even if you're a bear, there's always room to get stronger. Just means that you don't, have to not prioritize it 100%. It's just, the percentage of what you do on each thing is going to be different.
Yeah, this is where we made a full podcast about periodization and how you don't want to just ignore one quality. You want to train all, but you just emphasize more of one. And that's essentially what jump profiling is. You're still training all qualities at the same time, but you need to emphasize one based on your weaknesses, so then you don't end up stuck and plateauing. Okay, so next one, a wolf. So Hack, we've talked about quite a lot in the past. Hack, one of our athletes, he was a classic wolf. So he wasn't really at anything. Like, wasn't that he was bad at like everything, but he was just average across the board at everything. So it was a classic wolf jump profile. His jump technique was quite good, but he was just weak. He wasn't that elastic. He was sort of fast, but not standout fast. So literally all we did was just develop all the qualities evenly across the board. And now he's added 10 inches to his vertical, 10 plus inches to his vertical, and it's gone from barely touching the rim to windmilling on a bad day now. And his best days is like borderline East Bay. But you've seen him recently, Tom. Like, how close is he to an East Bay?
See, if he's listening to this, he's going to just have to relive all those back rim memories, like, by bringing it up. So I'm sorry for that, Hack. But yeah, he probably should have East Bay by now, but that's a whole other thing. Obviously, there's technique involved, and he's going to get it soon. But yeah, he's literally, I remember the first time I met him at the Arc, and we had like a dunk kind of like a dunk session. He kind of just saw us on the side, came over. He was a little bit chubby at the time. And yeah, he was barely getting like half his fingers over the rim. That was the first time I met him, and now he's completely different.
Sure. So last one is an Al, and a guy that we trained who's fit into that sort of category is Connor. He was a 1 foot jumper, and he wasn't like, he didn't have standout qualities. Like, he wasn't like crazy fast or elastic or strong. But the reason he wasn't jumping high is just because he was just holding too much fat on his body. So as soon as we got him leaner and got his body composition on point, his vertical skyrocketed. That was the hidden underlying reason he wasn't jumping higher. If you listen to this might be yours, but it can also be other things, like I mentioned at the start. It could be your training structure. It could be overtraining, and because you're overtraining, or masking your performance and you're not jumping higher. It could be injury. It could be an injury holding you back. It could be something like that. Like, we've had so many athletes where the main reason they're not jumping high is because of an injury. And as soon as we fix the injury, they got way more confident. And then maybe their jump profile shifted after this injury more towards something else. But the first initial thing that was holding them back was the injury. And as soon as we fixed that, confidence went up, vertical went up straight away. And then we could identify that maybe they fit more and swayed more into another jump profile after that. So that's a huge key as well. Like, even though we're kind of putting people in these boxes here, like, you're not strictly one or the other. It's more of a spectrum. You're going to sway more towards one. And this can actually change over time. Like, you could be, you could start out as a gazelle, and then you could work on your strength for like 3 years, get stupid strong when your vertical plateaus. But then you need to focus more on speed again, right? So that's the other caveat to what we're talking about as well. We've had athletes in that sort of situation to where they get their squat well over 2 times body weight. They're a gazelle jump profile. Then that stops working as well. So then we continue to still build their strength, but then we shift more of the focus to speed stuff, and the vertical climbs more. So that's important to know here too.
I like that.
So
I like that.
Can you think of anyone else? Can you think of anyone else in that situation, Tom?
Where they became were a gazelle and got
where they've literally shifted their jump profile over time.
Shifted their jump profile. Ooh, I think Hassan. Going back to Hassan's a good example, to be honest. Like, realistically, I said he was very strong in his powerlifting stuff, which he was doing before. But now, because we're going high bar instead of low bar, his squat numbers have obviously gone down. So we are still trying to build that up. But I don't think he's at the point where he's like, too strong to, continue to progress his vertical. I think he's got a lot of gains to make in that upright squat position just by getting that stronger. And that's literally what we're seeing. We're forcing him to keep an upright torso, wear squat shoes, elevate his heels. We're like really trying to just make sure he's jamming his knees over his toes and making it as quad dominant as we can. And literally, however long he's been training with us, like nearly a year now, he's still seeing gains. Gains aren't slowing down. And it's because we're consistently challenging his body. And at the moment, his quads are his weak point. So within that whole thing of getting stronger, there's like mini battles. There's like, well, your quad's getting stronger, your hamstring's getting stronger. For him, the quad's are the limiting factor. So we're working on that.
100%. So again, if you don't know your jump profile, definitely find it out and definitely find out what you need to work on, because it's going to mean faster progress for you, less plateaus, even less injury. And if you don't know yours and you want to find out yours, there's a link down below where you can find out for free, and you can go through that 7-day challenge, and we'll help you and guide you through that. And when you get to the end, you're going to have clarity on exactly what you need to work on to jump high and explode your vertical. So if you're interested in that, check that out. And we hope this podcast helped you out, and we hope this concert gives you a clear path forward to what you need to work on as an athlete. And if you have any questions, leave them down below. We'll help you out and reply to them, and we'll catch you in the next podcast.
Peace out, guys.